What's going on, guys? So yes, this video is hella late, I know, but I promised you guys that I would get it out to you before the next episode, which is basically in less than 24 hours of filming this video, so let's just jump right into it. Before we talk about this episode, I want to correct some things from my last video, because I got a little out there when I was thinking about theories and who could be what or whatever, and after reading your guys' comments, you brought me back to earth, because I don't know what the hell I was thinking on some of my theories. Because before this season started, I even made some videos about it. We talked about Savitar and the rival and all of this stuff, and I don't know where the head, I can't even talk right now, I don't know where the hell my brain was at when I filmed last week's episode, because some things were just so obvious that I was all like, no, blah, 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 this and that. I am going to apologize right now, and thank you guys for bringing me back to earth. So let's go ahead and talk about those things that I said, and we'll talk about what more than likely 100% they're going to be. One of my theories was that Dr. Alchemy might be worshipping the Dominators. And if you guys don't know who the Dominators are, they are going to be the villains for the 4-night crossover that is going to happen between all the superhero shows on the CW. That was completely stupid. I don't know why I thought that. It just popped into my brain. I was like, oh, maybe they're worshiping the Dominators. And I kind of wanted that to happen because I thought it would be cool. But that is not the case at all. The more logical theory is that Dr. Alchemy is worshiping Savitar, and I don't know why the hell my brain didn't put those two pieces together, because I know about Savitar. I read about him before the freaking start of the season, and Savitar, okay, if you guys don't know, Savitar, when he gets his freaking powers from the Speed Force, he gets obsessed with it. Like, he is obsessed with the Speed Force to the point where he starts learning new abilities that other speedsters can't even learn or haven't learned, and so he's like super obsessed with it. Well, his obsession with the Speed Force gains him followers, and these followers obviously start worshiping Savitar, and he becomes the leader of a cult. When Edward Clara showed up to meet Dr. Alchemy, what was he doing? He was worshiping, along with other people, some statue or monument or whatever, and those people were worshiping it, so they're more than likely worshiping Savitar. To further the theory, we know that Dr. Alchemy is the person, or the person we think is giving other people their powers. The rival, Magenta, all of these people are saying they got their powers from Dr. Alchemy. But what if it's actually not Dr. Alchemy that's giving people the powers? We do know that he knows about the alternate timeline. He's finding these other peoples from that timeline and giving them their powers. But what if it's Savitar that's actually giving people their powers, and he's the one that knows about the alternate timeline? He's just phasing all of that information through Dr. Alchemy. The reason why I think Savitar is the main man behind all of that is because, one, he's a speedster. So freaking Savitar will know about alternate timelines and things that change and all that shit. So that's one obvious thing right there. But two, if you read freaking Savitar's biography, like I said, he has abilities and things that other speedsters don't, and one of those things is he has the ability to give people speed or kinetic energy to people. So he could have easily given the rival his speed, given Magenta some other special powers. I don't know. Maybe that's how the show's gonna spin it. Maybe he has the ability to awaken powers or give powers to other people. But from his biography or whatever online, I mean, it could be different, but from what I've read, freaking he has the ability to give people powers. So that could be exactly how the rival got his speed, and maybe how Wally West is gonna get his speed in the future. Or maybe he needs alchemy to help him unlock these people's powers. It could be a combination of both. That is one thing that why I think I just told myself, like, no, it can't be this, because I don't think I wanted Alchemy to be a character that is beneath another character. I was kind of hoping that Alchemy was going to be his own big bad villain, not somebody that's worshiping another bigger bad villain. You know what I mean? I kind of wanted them to work as a team, not so much like, I worship you and there's this big badass speedster. It's also because I'm tired of speedsters being the damn villains. I wanted it to be somebody else. But it looks like we are going to have one big bad speedster villain again, and there's going to be this other villain that is worshiping him, which is Alchemy worshiping Savitar. So yeah, I just wanted to correct that because I don't know where my headspace was at when I filmed last week's video and I was coming up with all this other bullshit. All of this other stuff makes so much more sense Thank you guys for bringing me back down to earth. I also want to correct another thing, but it actually kind of falls into this episode as well, so I'll just correct it later on in the video. Now let's finally talk about this episode, and I have to say, was I the only one that really loved this intro? Like, this intro caught my eye, and I was just like, whoa, this was awesome. The way they were just talking about how everything was so slow for a speedster, and how you're just waiting for things to come by, because, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all been in that situation where you're just waiting for the freaking clock because you want to do something at a certain time. It was just awesome just how they emphasized it and shot the whole intro of that, because Barry was waiting for his date with Iris. Which brings me to my next topic, is there's no time for a speedster to have dates, because you saw what happened. They freaking, oh, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, oh, the world's in danger all the time, we don't have time to go out. But, you know, which I find hilarious because he's the world's fastest man, but he doesn't have time to date. We got to see the return of Harrison Wells and Jesse Quick, and at the same time learned that the Flashpoint storyline only affected Earth 1 and not Earth 2 or 3 or any of the other multiverse worlds, because when freaking Harrison Wells got there, he was like, Barry, what the fuck did you do? I've never been in this room before, you bitch! Oh, Harry, I've missed ya. But I do think it is very important that the Flash let us know that the multiverse was not affected by Flashpoint, only Earth 1, because now we know that everything that happened to Jesse Quick and Harrison Wells prior to freaking Flashpoint is still the same thing, because they went to another Earth before it happened. Bada bing, nothing has changed with them, and that is probably also going to be the reason why we're going to see Arrow or Green Arrow, Dad Green Arrow, in the season crossover 8th episode, whatever that's going to be happening on the episode of Arrow. And I know we're talking about the Flash, but on that episode, we're still going to see the freaking, I guess, Batman version of Arrow from the Flashpoint storyline in that whole timeline. Just go check it out. I know that I'm not making any sense, but in the 100th episode of Arrow, Oliver Queen's going to meet his father, who is also the Green Arrow. If you saw an episode of Flash, I think it's in season 2 when they go to Earth 2 for the first time and Harrison Wells is in his office. On the freaking newscast, there is a news reporter talking about how Oliver Queen's father is the Green Arrow. So we know that whole storyline is still intact and not changed. So that is why it was important to freaking find out why the multiverse was not affected. Anyways, I'll try to be a little bit clearer for the rest of the episode. That just, woo. Back to Jesse Quick. Yes, she finally got her speed. Again, I gotta point it out to all of you people out there that didn't think Wally or freaking Jesse Quick would ever get their powers. You're wrong. So Jesse Quick got her powers, and man, was Wally disappointed, because he was like, oh, Jesse, you're a speedster now? He was like disappointed to the point where, like, you know when you got a crush on somebody and then you find out that crush is freaking dating somebody else that you know, and you're just like, oh, you're dating him? That's freaking how Wally seemed. He was just like all heartbroken, like, you're a speedster, what? Very quickly, I want to mention Magenta. I didn't really think much of her character, but at the end when they sat her down and they were talking to her, she mentioned about her having dreams, and that is where she met Dr. Alchemy, and that's how she got her powers. Now, and throughout the episode, we also saw that freaking Wally freaking has been having dreams about becoming a speedster too. He talked to that about Joe or Barry. He talked to one of them about it. And he was talking about how he's been dreaming about it. So, this leads you to believe that Dr. Alchemy is probably going to cross paths with freaking Wally, and that might be how he gets his powers. But is that going to cause some drama if he does get his powers from Alchemy? Because remember, at the end of episode 2, we saw freaking Savitar come in, which I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning, but that hand at the end, that was Savitar. That's something I didn't correct, but I did correct it now. Savitar freaking came and killed the fucking rival, and we saw that he's dead. At the end of this episode, we saw that the rival, Edward Claris, is dead. So much for my freaking speedster versus speedster versus speedster kind of matchup. That ain't gonna happen anymore because Savitar killed his ass. So if Wally gets his powers from Dr. Alchemy but fails to defeat the Flash or whatever Dr. Alchemy wants, like he was trying to get the rival to do, is he gonna end up having to meet Savitar, and is Flash and maybe Jesse Quick gonna have to save Wally from Savitar because Savitar's gonna kill him? That could be a possible storyline. And we know for a fact that Wally is crazy and he wants his powers so bad that he's willing to try and kill himself to get them, because Jesse Quick was talking about how she almost got hit by a car, and that is when she got her powers, and she zoomed out of the way, And she was just like, oh, I'm fine. So that dumbass was all like, oh, we're just gonna get hit by a car? Okay, doesn't work that way, Wally. Freaking Barry didn't jump in front of a car and almost get hit. He got struck by lightning, son. It don't work the same for everybody. I did find it interesting that Jessie Quick said that everything just slowed down for her when she was gonna get hit by that car. Does she have the same type of power that Wally West in the comics has? Now, the way they kind of say Wally West's powers work in the comics is everything just slows down for him at a very fast rate. I think that's how it is. Instead of like him moving really fast, everything like goes a lot slower for him. Feel free to correct me on that in the comics, because I haven't read too much about the black Wally West. I've read more about the white Wally West. So I know his powers are different than everybody else's. I believe everything slows down really slow for him instead of him being extremely fast. I don't know. I'm really confused about that. Feel free to correct me on that. But that seems like what happens for Jessie Quick, so that's pretty interesting. It would also make sense since they both got hit by the same particle accelerator. They more than likely both have the same type of speed, but then again, she got hit with V9 and the particle accelerator. That's more than likely why she got her powers first, and then we'll see what happens with Wally West, because he's been hit with a particle accelerator, but he had no V9 in his system, and that's more than likely why he doesn't have his powers yet. That whole little team up of Jessie Quick and Barry Allen fighting together was really awesome. It's cool to see a girl speedster in there, because it just adds a different, you know, feel to the show, so that's pretty badass. I can't wait till Wally gets in there and all three of them are speedsters. That'll look pretty cool. I wish they were fighting other speedsters. Savitar had to go and kill the rival. Anyways, I thought that was cool, and then when she got her suit, that was also pretty awesome, but I don't really like the suit. Yes, I do know that it is just the old trajectory suit or whatever, which makes sense. They would have it lying around since she just evaporated and she's in the Speed Force all naked and shit. So why should they even create another suit when they have a perfectly good one just lying around? Of course, Cisco's probably going to add some things to it. I wish they would have went with a different color, because it just seems like the Flash only has 3 colors in their wardrobe place. It's maroon, yellow, and black, because that's all of their villains and all of their heroes are those damn color schemes. I just wish they would change it up a little bit. Hopefully, if freaking Jessie Quick keeps wearing that outfit, she'll at least wear a jacket over it, because maybe there's some significance to that jacket. I don't really know, because I want just something more similar to her other costumes. I mean, she's had a bunch of costumes over the years, but it would be cool to have just some variation in the costumes, you know, like give her that jacket or make her be like, you know what, I really want this in blue, and that would be cool just to have a different variation of the speedsters in the show, you know, because freaking Flash is maroon, freaking Wally's gonna be yellow, and it would just be cool to see, you know, Jessie just look different and have like a blue suit or something. Just make it happen, Flash, come on. The last thing I want to talk about is kind of a correction from the last video that I made, but it involves freaking Malfoy and possibly being Dr. Alchemy. Now, I did tell you guys that I was kind of leaning towards him not being Dr. Alchemy anymore, but my original theory before this whole season started was, oh, they're freaking hiring Malfoy to be Dr. Alchemy. That is such an easy thing, and I think it is very fucking easy to point out. Once you start hearing all these things I'm about to say, it's gonna be like, yeah, he's freaking Malfoy is Dr. Alchemy. I'm hoping that we're wrong and they throw us a curveball, because I would hate it to be that easy to figure out all this stuff, but then again, it would be staying true to the comics, so you can't really pick and choose. You can't have suspenseful craziness and stay true to the comics at the same time, so you kind of got to live with either one of those. But let's go ahead and talk about it. As of right now, with some of this new stuff that I've learned, it does look like freaking Malfoy is Dr. Alchemy. The reason why I believe this is some of you were talking about how it could be a split personality, and Malfoy could be this goody two-shoe guy trying to catch all the metahumans, but he also has this personality of Dr. Alchemy where he's just evil and shit, and that is exactly something that comes from the comics. I did mention it before, I didn't have too much knowledge of Dr. Alchemy, and I learned more about Savitar before the season than I did Dr. Alchemy, and now this makes perfect sense that it could possibly be a split personality. Some of you guys were saying it might be freaking Malfoy from a different timeline, and it's the same person, but one is Dr. Alchemy and one is freaking Draco Malfoy or whatever his name. I know he has a real name in the show, but I'm going to call him Malfoy because he will forever be Malfoy. So yeah, I think we are going to go with that whole split personality thing where Malfoy will be Dr. Alchemy. By day, he is law-abiding citizen who wants to save the world. By night, he is evil man, Dr. Alchemy, worshipping Savitar. And this all makes sense because in this episode, freaking Malfoy went and he stole the cup from Magenta or whatever that she drank out of and went upstairs and swiped it for freaking DNA, and it had the same element, which is another name for Dr. Alchemy that he went by in the comic books. He went by the element at some points. There's this element in all of the husks they found. You know, the one for freaking the rival, the one for Magenta, we're assuming there was a husk for her. They all have this one element that he knows nothing about, but it's singular to all of these things. Something that Dr. Alchemy more than likely created to create these powers and these husks for each single person. So it looks like Dr. Alchemy is using a particular freaking element or chemical compound or whatever that, oh, what do you know, himself, his split personality, has been able to find in all of these things. Not Barry Allen, because apparently he just cares about banging out Iris and not doing his damn job. No wonder why freaking Malfoy hates you, Barry. Do your damn job. So we get that little element Easter egg, and Malfoy had found it, and bada bing, bada boom, they're just throwing out all these hints right now that he is going to be Dr. Alchemy. Now, I'm kind of hoping we get a curveball and it is somebody different or it's a different type of storyline, but as of right now, it does look like, 99% chance that freaking Draco Malfoy is Dr. Alchemy. But that is all I got, guys. Thank you again for bringing me back down to earth. I got a little too crazy reaching out there for these Flash theories, which I really hate myself for that because I legitimately researched this shit before I started watching this season. I was like, let me check out Savitar, let me check out this, and my brain just farted that whole day, really loud farts everywhere, and I just came up with some stupid theories. So thank you for bringing me back down to earth. But I do want to know, what did you think of this episode? What did you think of Jesse Quick? What did you think of Wally trying to kill himself to get his powers? I want to know all of your thoughts and all that jazz in the comment sections down below. Also, before I go, I want to mention thank you so much for 15,000 subscribers. We crossed that recently. I forgot to mention it in my Walking Dead video, but we did cross 15,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. And with that, every 5,000 subscribers, I am going to start doing Q&A videos. So we just hit 15K. That means there is going to be a new Q&A video that I might be able to drop later this week. If I put out enough videos and you guys submit enough questions, I'll try to get it out on Friday or the weekend at some point. So go ahead and submit any questions you want with the hashtag AskJuice15K on Twitter or in the freaking comment sections down below, and you might get your freaking question answered in the Q&A video. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with all your Flash buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, guys, I am your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had my daily dose of juice? See you guys next time. Bye!